Hello and welcome to Health Options. I am Rabi Abdullah. Nigerian doctors under the umbrella of the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors embarked on strike on the 2nd of August following what are described as poor treatment of its members by both the federal government and some state governments amidst failure to honor collective bargain agreements. Series of meetings were held between the leadership of the association, the Nigerian Medical Association, and the federal government towards resolving the issue. NAD was at some point issued an order by the industrial court to call off the strike to no avail. On Monday, the 4th of October, however, the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors suspended the nationwide industrial action after it entered its 9th week and directed members to resume work on Wednesday, the 6th. This development came after the leadership of the association and the umbrella body for all doctors in the country, the Nigerian Medical Association (NMA), met on Sunday, the 3rd of September, and reviewed the progress made with their demands from government. The return of the resident doctors is our focus on this episode of Health Options. The president of the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, Dr. Dari Godia Ishaya, will be here with us in the studio to clarify some issues. This week's Nature's Corner brings to your attention very important nutrients that the body requires, which are rich in rainwater. Thanks for joining us on the program. If you're just joining us, this is Health Options, and our focus is on the return of resident doctors after 9 weeks of strike. My guest is the president of the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, Dr. Dari Godia Ishaya. Thanks for coming on Health Options, Dr. Godia.
Thank you, and thank you, viewers, thanks for having me on the program.
Yeah, and congratulations. Your ESCO is quite a new one.
Thank you very much.
How old is it now?
Precisely, the election was conducted on the 25th of September. We're barely 8-9 days today.
Okay.
Yes.
So congratulations on your election.
Thank you very much.
So we wish you a strike-free tenure.
Amen. Thank you.
You are starting on a positive note anyway with the suspension of your strike.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so let's get down to the heart of the matter now. You embarked on a 9 weeks strike following some of issues that I highlighted in my introduction, and after a series of engagements with other stakeholders, which include the federal government and NMA, you were able to, arrive at a point where you felt it was necessary, or you could suspend the strike while negotiations continue, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's just give us a little background. Why did you have to embark on the strike?
We had to embark on the strike because that was as a result of failure to honor a collective bargain agreement that was entered into with the government in April, following a 10-day-old strike action that my association went through. And following that, a memorandum of action was signed, and we followed the implementation of the memorandum of action, as it were, and there was no progress. Timeline that were apportioned to some items in that memorandum of action elapsed, and there were no movement to fulfill some of those items that were captured in the memorandum of time of action. So after 120 days of tete-a-tete with the government, there was no meaningful progress. So the association met at Umahia during our National Executive Council meeting, and resolved that we resume back the suspended strike that we had in April. And that was the reason why we commenced this strike. And following the declaration of the strike, we were not interfacing. There was no direct interface between my association and the government, and that left the strike to linger this long.
Can you just let us into a few of your demands and the ones that government had been able to attend to now?
The ones that the government have been able to attend to and conclusively resolve is the issue of the bench fee. Bench fee is a fee that some of our members were hitherto being asked to pay when they go to undergo training in another facility, which also belonged to the same federal government that we had been that were undergoing training in. And we felt it was unnecessary exploitation, because if, for example, if a particular institution is having budget for personnel, and a particular resident is going to the same institution to train, where he's not supposed to pay the resident as his primary place of work are paying him, then there shouldn't be any training fee to be paid by that resident in that institution, which he had chosen to go and acquire some skills. So, and the government looked into it, and they look at our argument and said it was the right thing to do to suspend or to discourage the chief medical directors from collecting such fee from us. And that was conclusively laid to rest. Okay. There was issue of death in service benefit for our members that have died from contagious infections such as Lassa fever, Ebola, and COVID-19. And the families of the deceased, of our deceased colleagues, were not paid their death in service benefit. So we felt that we needed to fight for our colleagues who are deceased, so that the families can have the benefit of, rather can have some closure from the loss that they have had to endure. So we had some progress as to the families of some of our deceased colleagues were actually paid, but vast majority of them were yet to be paid, and we're still working on getting them paid.
Okay, so, but the government had given you the assurance that they will get paid.
Yes, we got the assurance that they will be paid. Then there was this issue of medical residency training allowances, which was supposed to be captured in the 2021 budget, but it wasn't captured. So it was eventually captured, and however it was captured under service-wide vote. The act stipulated that it should be under the National Postgraduate Medical College, but it wasn't captured under National Postgraduate Medical College. It was captured under service-wide vote, and we had our suspicion that budget in service-wide vote is no one's budget, as it can be used to channel into another thing which will be legally appropriate. So we felt that we needed to push so that allowances can be paid to our members. So with our coming on board, we went back and met the stakeholders who are responsible. And
that's your new exco?
Yes. Okay. So when we met them, we were able to move forward in that direction, and some of our colleagues were paid. And again, we had stalemate on some of our members who have not been paid under the service of the federal government, about quite a number of them in University of Ibadan, University College Hospital Ibadan, University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital, University of Calabar Teaching Hospital. They were under Give Me's platform and were not being paid. So we moved, or rather we brought it to the notice of the government that they haven't been paid for 5 months as at that time. So the government made effort and they started paying them. And the process is we were made to understand that there was some irregularities in the processes that led to their employment, but eventually government gave waiver for them to be employed. But they were captured under IPPIS, but the remaining allowances, rather the remaining arrears that were supposed to be paid to them could not be paid because of the similar reason I was given earlier of non-payment of remuneration to workers who are on strike. So we had to push on that, and eventually all of them have been captured. Now is for us to give a chance to the government to payroll them and subsequently pay their arrears.
I need clarification on the difference, between the federal government and the states in all of this, because I know that there are state governments or governors who had made efforts, maybe to even fulfill the demands of resident doctors in their states. But surprisingly, even during the strike, resident doctors in those states were asked to join.
Yes, it was. It's unfortunate that it has to happen like that because it was a national strike. But I must commend the effort being made by the those governors of those states, like the governor of Delta State, had implemented the Medical Residency Training Act in his state, and have also paid our members the Medical Residency Training Fund. The governor of Borno as well paid the resident in his state even more than the benchmark that was set by the federal government. The governor of Benue State as well, he has domesticated the act, had wanted to implement, but the strike and the invocation of the Trade Dispute Act disrupted that. But we hope with the return to work, he is going to follow it through and implement the payment to our members. That's our hope.
Okay, as resident doctors, it means, my own understanding is that you are medical doctors undergoing your postgraduate training, right?
Yes.
So what can you add to that for better understanding of who you really are?
Well, we undergo, it's just like a kind of employment that incorporates services, training, and also research in the same institution. The training aspect of it is to become a specialist. But at the same time, you are employed to give services to patients. And as well conduct some researches. I find with the help of other team cadre of doctors in the in the hospitals, to find new ways of treating patients, new way of diagnosing diseases. So these are some of the things that we do in the hospital. Aside from the training, we render services and also do researches.
Okay, I want to know, while federal government is making its own efforts, and the state governments too, to some extent, don't you think, when you ask your members to embark on, industrial action, and you do not get to separate the chaff from the wheat, maybe in order to encourage other maybe state governments who are not in tune with that progressive aspect of what your needs are, don't you think there's no level playing ground here?
Well, I think there is a level playing ground, because the essence of unionism, or rather association, is to assist the ones that are the weakest among you, and to also help them get what deservingly is theirs. The situation whereby we have more than 5 facilities or 5 states not abiding or not doing what the others are doing, then we are usually forced to assist them in the fight, because it becomes like a national issue. But we have had a situation whereby isolated states have gone on industrial action to push from home their demand. But in the situation where we have 5 or 6 or more that will or about declaring strike action independently, it behooves of us that we put everything together and fight and do the fight together.
Okay, are you going to look into a situation whereby CMDs of tertiary health facilities just keep taking resident doctors without recourse to allowances or remuneration? Because, you know, when a health facility just employ or takes in residents and don't make proper provision for their payments and allowances.
The truth is, you and I will agree that all of us are working for the government, and government place certain people in particular position to carry out certain responsibilities.
Yes.
If certain people fell on their responsibilities, it won't be ours to be bearing the brunt, as it were. If we realize something is not going on the way it should go, we will speak out, because that's our aim or objective is to promote the welfare of our members. And we wouldn't know as an association what are the laid down procedure, but as long as you have been employed, we believe, or we want to believe, that the processes of employment must have been followed. So if another officer who is responsible or charged with the responsibility of looking into that, look into it and say the processes were not followed, then the person who committed the infraction should be reprimanded, so that next time there won't be such kind of infraction again.
Okay, so going forward now, what window have you given, since it's a suspended strike? What window have you given government, and what are you going to be doing to make sure that the needful is done, so that you don't go back to downing your tools again, or downing tools again?
Well, the emergency neck that was held that led to the suspension of the strike also mandated us to give a window of 6 weeks. And within this window, we are not going to sleep. We have to go to those agencies or those ministries involved in implementing some of those items that we have agreed, so that it will be implemented, and we will revert back to them after 6 weeks and tell them the progress that we have made. Because we want to have a strike-free period. As you said, we are a new executive, and we are desirous of seeing that we continue to render effective and quality health services to the masses who cannot afford to go abroad for medical tourism or avoid the bills in the private hospitals.
Okay, we hope it stays at that, Dr. Budia.
Amen.
Thank you so much for coming on Health Options and clarifying the issues we put before you.
Thank you very much.
Right. Wish you a successful tenure.
Thank you.
Rainwater is considered a source of very important nutrients required by the body. Let's find out what these nutrients are on our nature scanner.
During rainy season, which is the season we have now, we have a lot of this water coming freely from God, and it contains a lot of minerals, trace elements like selenium, zinc, and what have you. And then man has derived a process to collect this rainwater without getting too contaminated. by way of dropping bowls in a given setting to collect it directly without going through the zinc and so on. The best way to collect this rainwater is by exposing basin to an open area where rains fall directly into them and they are collected and covered. And this rainy water remains very, very cool for a very long time when they are collected in that form. Even sometimes they are cooler than ice water, and they are highly therapeutics. What do I mean? If you drink them, they detoxify the body system. If you drink them, it corrects issues of indigestion. These two important things, detoxification and correction of digestive system, rainwater has this been attributed to it as authored by WHO. So rainwater is a very, very critical pure water for human existence. And it should be collected in an open area where bowls are placed and rain fall directly into them. And after collecting, these bowls are covered and used. The vitamins it provides, a number of them are magnesium, calcium, trace elements like selenium, zinc, manganese, copper. These are the kind of different minerals you can see in rainwater. Vitamin B12 has a very difficult source to get, but the quantity that can be obtained through rainwater is the highest, only second to the one obtained in the sheep liver. That is vitamin B12. And the role of vitamin B12 in those who are diabetic, everybody knows. And certain vitamin like vitamin D can also be obtained through the rainwater. But this one needs some further manipulations in the lab to be able to get in vitamin B12 and to get vitamin D, which in nature are very, very difficult to manufacture. And except you expose yourself to the sunlight, and if you are not careful, you are overexposed, you get cancer. But it can be obtained from rainwater easily, and vitamin B12 too can be obtained from rainwater. And this vitamin B12 is very critical in pernicious anemia. It helps to prevent it. So a number of people in the world have deficiencies of this vitamin B12. And these are clear sources that they can be gotten. If you don't have vitamin B12, you have a blood shortage leading to pernicious anemia, which is very, very difficult to handle. In the treatment of HIV, in the treatment of hepatitis, anything that depends on blood, even sickle cell, you need vitamin B12. Vitamin D in corona, it has come up prominently. And this, you are getting it from rainwater. It's very difficult to manufacture vitamin B12 or vitamin D.
That's where we end this week's episode of Health Options. A quick reminder that you can go to our YouTube channel to watch the upload of these and other episodes of the program. Email us for your comments and contributions at healthoptions@nta.gov.ng. I remain yours, Rabi Abdullah. Remember to stay safe from COVID-19. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you again.